Hey, you! Yeah, you! Have you ever wondered how to maintain a research caliber aviary? Well, today's your lucky day! This video is going to make you an expert on how to care for a captive zebrafinch population, which is a fun activity that we call bird care. But before you learn how to do bird care, let's take a quick tour of the facility. Room 342 is the husbandry room, which is basically the kitchen, where you'll wash the dirty dishes and stock the clean dishes with yummy zebrafinch food and water. In this room, you can find the sink, the washer, all the food in the refrigerator, like delicious millet, seed, and eggs. In the bottom cabinets are the cage liners, which we use to line the bottoms of the bird cages to keep things clean for them. And next to it are the extra seeds for when you run out of food in the refrigerator. Room 343 is the aviary, where we house our zebrafinches. The right wall when you walk in is lined with the general housing cages, which divide the population into males and females, so they can't get too frisky without our consent. Each sex's housing cage actually consists of 2 cages joined by a flight tunnel. Along the other wall are our hospital cages, which we use if a bird needs some time away from the rest of the birds for some rest and relaxation. Now, zebrafinches might look cute, but they can actually be real rascals. So this is where we put the poor birds that get a little bit too bullied. Do you think you're ready to do bird care now? Whoa there, eager beaver. First things first, you have to protect yourself. You can do this by wearing personal protective equipment, or PPE. This PPE, which consists of a lab coat, atta girl Isabella, gloves, and don't forget those stylish rubber shoes. We'll guard you from touching any icky bird poop, keep your clothes clean, and stop you from accidentally tracking any external pathogens into the aviary from outside the lab. Everyone join in. Now that you're geared up, it's time to start the dishwasher, because it can take up to 20 minutes to properly heat up. So you should turn it on right after you put on your PPE. Turn on the dishwasher by hitting the 1 button once. Once the screen reads load, then it's ready for use. But we don't have any dirty dishes yet, so let's go find some. Now it's time for bird care. Start by having one person prepping the clean dishes and filling up the sink with warm, soapy water, while your other partner takes a cart and a large trash can from the husbandry room. Go into the aviary and make sure the door is shut behind you. Now, open the first cage and carefully reach in to retrieve the dirty dishes. Make sure you keep the cage door as closed as possible so that no bird gets out. Never have a cage door open and the door to the hallway open at the same time. If it's a Monday, remove the grit from the cage to clean its cup and replace it. If it's on a Wednesday or Friday, leave the grit in the cage. Once you have your cart loaded with all the dirty dishes from each cage, now it's time to get the dirty trays. Remove the tray and dump it and its cage liner into the trash. Take everything back to 342 and dump the used seed into a separate container, removing any poop or cage liner scraps that you see. Set this aside for when you prepare the new seed and water. Place the seed dishes, trays, and silos into the filled sink. Some of our cage trays are cut in halves so they can fit in the dishwasher. If you have those, place them in the sink too. If you don't have a partner, soak the dirty dishes while you prepare the clean food and water. Now that your dirty dishes have soaked, you can load them and the trays into the dishwasher. But what's the best way to load the dishwasher? Open it up and arrange the trays and dishes in one even layer without stacking anything, removing any caps from feed silos and water dispensers, or else it won't get clean. When you're ready to start the wash cycle, simply hit the start button, then open the washer after you hear it beep 3 times. Be careful. Hot water is hot. Hot water makes hot metal and hot steam, which are also hot. Remove the clean dishes and set them in the drying rack. Otherwise, leave the dirty dishes for the end so you can focus on getting fresh food and water to the zebra finches so they don't spend too much time without it. If you have the full cage trays, wash those by hand. If you have a helper with you today, one of you can work on the dirty dishes while the other moves on to the clean dish preparation. Let's check out what Lena is doing. First, give the seed in a bin a good stir to make sure everything is properly mixed. Then take 1 food silo per cage and fill it with 3/4 of a cup of seed each. We'll need 1 for each cage. Then, take a clean metal dish and fill it with 3/4 cups of seed as well. We'll need 1 per main cage. Make sure that each metal dish also has a cage hanger so it can hang inside the cage. If it's a Monday, you will also need to prepare fresh grit, which is located on the shelf above the drying rack. Scoop it into a clean grit container, 1 per cage. Next, prepare the clean trays with 2 layers of cage liner paper per tray. In total, you should have 4 large silo and metal dish feeders for the main cages, 8 water silos for the 4 main cages, and then 1 of each food and water silo for hospital cages. In this example, there are 2 hospital cages. Go ahead and grab some millet, load up all the trays, and presto, you're ready. But be careful how you grab those food silos. Oh, Isabella. If you are an experienced bird care technician, you can actually prepare all the fresh dishes before even entering the aviary to collect the dirty dishes. Then you can bring all the fresh food and water into the aviary and immediately replace the dirty dishes and trays with the clean ones. Just make sure you take an extra container into the aviary with you so you can recycle the used seed. And one last thing. If you ever run out of materials for bird care, go ahead and text or call Dr. Anderson and let her know what we're missing. The drinking water is kept in the aviary, so fill up the water silos there. Remember, you'll want 2 water silos per general housing cage and 1 per hospital cage. Place water silos on the clips that hold them and squeeze the extension from the green base through the parts in the cage where wider gaps have been made between the bars. Make sure the water silos are close to a perch, keeping an eye on both horizontal and vertical placement relative to the perch. If the perch is too far, adjust the perch, not the water silo. Place the grit cups near perches too, ensuring that they're not too low or too high from the perch. Place food near perches too. We never want the birds to have to work for their food, but don't place it too low below the perch or they might poop into it. Dirty birds. And you guessed it, millet should go near a perch too. Make sure it's not over any water baths or silos, and is actually within reach of the perch. After you're done, give those little buggers a handful of fruits and veggies like shredded carrots, parsley, or orange slices. Remember, one of the biggest don'ts is to never place food or water in hard-to-reach places. They should be near perches at all times, or on the cage floor. If you see they're not, move the perches to be closer. Here's a nice example of what it should look like. Notice how the water is nowhere close to the millet and food, and that they are all snuggled next to the perches. Lastly, make sure cuttle bones like this one are by the perch and facing the correct way. The chalky side should be what's showing. After each bird care, you'll want to vacuum. Well, you may not want to, but do it anyway. The vacuum is found under the table in the back left of the prep room. And make sure that vacuum isn't overflowing. Gee golly, look at that mess! Now, go ahead and start vacuuming room 343. And then the hallway outside. After vacuuming on Fridays, make sure to mop room 343 as well. The mop is found in the back of the 342 prep room. Make sure to vacuum the 342 prep room as well. And that's it. You're almost finished. Go ahead and check off your daily activities in the check sheet and record the temperature and humidity in the room. Bird Care will also be doing a bird health check, but what should you look for? Like any animal, birds try to conceal when they're not feeling well until they simply can't anymore. But by then, it might be too late for us to do anything about it, so you'll have to be detectives when a bird has an upset tummy or is feeling stressed. Keeping their mouths wide open is a sign of stress. Staying very fluffy and puffed up means they're sick. And make sure to take note of injuries like this hurt drooping wing that you see here. When you're done for the day, and or if you find a sick bird, text Dr. Anderson to let her know what's going on. If you accidentally, or on purpose, get locked in one of the aviaries, there is a red alarm button near the bottom left part of the inner door frame, which will sound an alarm, so someone like this handsome hero can come save you. Health checks are done on days that Bird Care isn't, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and weekends. Your health checks will include checking humidity and temperature, health of the birds, clean or replace the water silos and add baths, and finally to make sure they have enough food and water. Go ahead and give a good scan of each cage. This one looks good. Wait, uh-oh, there's a silo with dirty water. Someone wasn't listening by placing millet too close. Go ahead and give that silo a nice scrub before replacing it with new and clean water. Just like Bird Care, health checks have the same check sheet that you must mark. It also have a special list with each day having unique activities. So how about we start at Tuesdays? Every other Tuesday, you're going to want to give a nice scrub to all the perches of the aviary. These perches are delicate and should be washed by hand. Add clean perches back to the cages, but don't let them look like this. Here's what they should look like. Look how accessible the food and water is, and the perches are straight. Now, prep egg food. Get the food processor from the top of the shelf in 342 and plug it in. Get a hard-boiled egg from the fridge and start chopping. It might be easiest to break the egg into smaller pieces before putting it into the food processor. Make sure to add the shell of the egg as well. They just can't get enough of that stuff. Grind the egg by pressing down on the lid. And take it into 343 with the green measuring spoon. Give about a full scoop and place it at the bottom of the cage. Avoid areas directly underneath the perch because otherwise they might poop on it. It's what they do best. On Tuesdays, we take out the trash. You can get new trash bags in the corner of the prep room. The dumpster is located in the back of the Davy West building. This is a bit of a perilous journey, so you'll want to be prepared. Make sure you have your owl card, because there are a few doors that will lock behind you. Go ahead and walk to the door at the end of the hallway, take the elevator to the first floor, and head to the outside of the building with a gated parking lot containing airboats. Make a left past the gates and you'll see the dumpster. Use the dumpster with the black lid, not the yellow one. Now, let's take a look at Thursdays. check the eye wash station in room 342 by pushing the lever slowly for 30 seconds. After, pull the lever back to turn it off. Mark that it was checked by giving the date and your initials on the tag right by the station. Next, clean the toys in each of the bird cages by giving it a good scrub-a-dub-dub and put them in the washer. Then add them back into each of the cages, filled with millet and greens. Yum! Good job! Now, Thursdays are done. Let's look at Saturdays and Sundays. Saturday, you'll want to mist the birds with 2 or 3 squirts of water in each cage. Take out the trash. And Sundays, wipe the countertops. And don't forget that Tuesdays and Thursdays, you fill up the bath water by using the plastic cups for the hospital cages and metal cups for the main cages. Hans knows what he's doing. Make sure that water isn't too warm or cold. As always, make sure you always check off all of your activities after you complete them. And contact Dr. Anderson when you're done. Finally, let's talk about what to do if you see a dead bird. Oh no, there's one there! Contact Dr. Anderson immediately to let her know what has befallen our poor friend. Head over to the binder in the aviary room and find the update forms. Write the band combo, the sex, the date, and your initials like this in this example. Next, get a Ziploc bag from 342 and label it with the bird's band combo and date. Put the bird in the bag and then finally leave it in the refrigerator. And there you go, champs. You're ready to clean some cages and make those birds happy. Go get 'em!